conquista tutto. L'amore conquista tutto.
Hey there, everyone. It's welcome to the Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast. You've got Curly and Braggy here. This is episode 48. And today we've got an amazing singer and songwriter, I'm guessing, Amanda Turner from Adelaide. But Amanda, I'm just going to park you for a little bit. Braggy.
That's okay.
How's your week been?
It's been a good week, Tony. It's been a little bit muggy. We talked about that here in Adelaide, which is not very muggy for everybody else in the tropics. But someone who sweated a lot was Meatloaf.
The big fella's gone.
And he went. Left the dashboard light on.
Actually, an interesting thing, when my daughter Taylor found out about Meatloaf, she actually got quite emotional because, and this is a really quite a cute story, back in 2003, Meatloaf played at the NRL Grand Final. Not the AFL one in 2011.
He really damaged himself at the AFL Grand Final.
But in 2003, and we were at that Grand Final because it was Penrith and I think the Chooks played. And Taylor was really quite emotional at that Grand Final because she actually thought that Meatloaf had died because she'd watched him in Rocky Horror, and as we all...
she was only
a young one. So she thought Meatloaf was dead because he died in Rocky Horror.
Right.
And so all of a sudden we hear the story that Meatloaf's died, and I'm getting a text saying, Dad, I'm going to share a story with you. So I thought that was so cute. There you go. So cute. So, yeah.
Yeah, he only really had the one good big album.
I think Jim Steinman was, like, Jim passed away, I think, 2018. So they were the two masterminds behind Bat Out of Hell. Jim also released a solo album, which I loved. I've forgotten the name of it now. But I got in so much I forgot the name. But I haven't listened to it for a while. But yeah, the two big names out of Bat Out of Hell are gone. So... yeah, just that's the only news I've got. So,
well, the music lives on, Tony.
What a legacy! That's what we're all aiming for, isn't it? So, now last week, a sincere apology to Amanda. I actually got her name wrong when I first talked to her and introduced that we were going to have Amanda on today's episode. For some reason, the name Smith stuck in the back of my head. It's Amanda Turner, so sincere apologies. How are you, Amanda, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm okay, thank you. Smith and Turner are very, very common names, so it's understandable that you can get them mixed up a bit.
Yeah, I just went completely blank last week, but I did correct it at the end when I said it's Amanda Turner, because I was thinking to myself all the way through, I've stuffed that up. I've got the name wrong. So sometimes it happens. So, Amanda, share a little bit about your story.
Well, I'm 37 years old. I have been singing since I was about 9 in choirs at school and just dabbled in it a bit, and then in 2006 I got glandular fever and my throat got damaged.
Oh.
So I thought, okay, I sound like crap now, so I'm not going to sing anymore. 12 years down the track, I find out I've got a disability. So I decided that I would take on singing as a form of therapy.
Okay.
And so I had my tonsils out, waited a year for it to heal, and then I thought, let's get my singing voice back into action. And so I started attending a organisation called Lift Up Voices.
Yep.
I've got a disability known as complex post-traumatic stress disorder, stemming from my days of being at school, being bullied at school. And so that's... By using my experience, I decided let's go do healing by writing music and by training my voice better and learning how to create music on the computer as well.
Okay.
So it's been quite a rocky journey into singing. So I'm a bit of a latecomer, but getting there.
Never too late, Amanda.
So, yeah.
Well, that's inspiring, and that's great that we've just had someone with a disability be named Australian of the Year.
I know.
So,
yeah,
how that's cool. And have you found that the singing has helped?
Has helped me
you?
so much.
Yeah.
Definitely was expressing myself and my emotions, and also allowing it for me to do my advocacy work on Instagram and inspiring other people, and also using my music as a platform to help others being bullied as well. I've actually got a story behind how the Edge came to be.
Yes.
Lockdown 2020, I just graduated university, but at that time I was studying, during lockdown, and I needed to do something creative. So I wrote some song lyrics, and I got in contact with my Year 5 school teacher, who, this is like 25 years later. He's on Facebook.
Wow.
I said, thank you for helping me through my difficult year in Year 5.
Yeah.
And then I found out he wrote a children's book. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to send him my lyrics and see what he thinks. So I sent him The Edge, and he said, he sent me this long text message, said, you need to make this into a song. It will help so many students. And
wow, that is just a fantastic
so
story.
I'll mention his name. His name's Michael Head, and he's written Rainbow Custodians. So that was like an amazing poetic book about the rainforest and the animals contacting humans to help us to all reunite to save the environment in Australia. So, and he's like, you've got to turn The Edge into a song. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I'll do it then. That was Mr. Head and his motivation.
That's so good. Teachers sometimes get a bad rap, I never understand why, because the future's always in their hands. And, just that story alone, some teachers save people's lives.
They do.
And they've got such a lasting legacy. I mean, so for so many people, and I guess for a proportion of the society, they get out of school and they want to forget it. But here we've got a grade 5 teacher, name remembered, the impact that they had on yourself, Amanda, and then to reach out and say, hey, what do you think of this? I think that's great.
Yeah. Take my hat off to both you guys.
Thank you. He's still teaching now, so he's a pro now.
Yeah, he's no relation to Travis Head.
I think he might be, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But I think he is. I mean, I can't confirm that, but you never know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Don't know that one, but and he did. He encouraged me the whole way, and so hopefully his students heard my song and more. Yeah,
and so you recorded this one yourself at home?
Lift Up Voices actually has a recording set up, and the founder of Lift Up Voices, Tori Marshall, actually used to work as a sound engineer in LA.
Oh wow.
And then she decided to come back to Adelaide and open this organisation up. And my vocal coach her name's Renee, and she guides me with my vocal skills, and she helps me with recording. And Tori is like the mixer, like the master. And they take so many amazing songs from many people with disabilities and make them come to life. And
what an organisation! How cool is that?
It is. It's amazing. I'm so grateful. I can only access it through the NDIS, so I've been very lucky. And that's where my funding's been helping me with developing a sense of community, developing my skills in music distribution, social media marketing, which I've kind of had to learn.
Don't we all?
Yes, it's just one of those things, isn't it? But once again, Braggy and Amanda, we've got this amazing story of the difference that music makes. So it's been part of the therapy, it's been part of the recovery process, which is just incredible. But then you're also using it to share an absolutely powerful message out there in the community.
Yeah. And the amazing thing, I think, Tony, is that when we started this show, we didn't seek out to find people who, worked and used music as therapy to help people. But every person, Nelly, we talk to, whether they're just a normal old muso or like Amanda who has a disability, that they've all got a story about how music has lifted them up or has done something for them, or they've gone when they're in, when they're not in their best space. They go and write music or listen to music, and it helps.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
And full credit to Amanda Braggy, because I posted in an Adelaide Musos group on Facebook about the podcast and seeking anyone who wanted to come on. And I think about 5 minutes after that post was published, I had a message from Amanda. So she wanted just the fact that she's out there. She wants to share a message. She's sending positivity out there in the world by talking about some real issues. So things like bullying and mental health, and I'd imagine, Amanda, that you've seen the challenges of mental health over the last 2 years.
Oh, definitely many challenges. I've experienced a system that can't always provide for everybody because there's not enough funding. And feeling the stigma, so just feeling like, can I share what I've gone through or not? But I've been very open with a lot of my struggles, and also with a lot of learning about to express my emotions, let them out, and in a healthy way.
Yeah,
and also. Just knowing that everybody, from men, women, all different people, can experience mental health, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a normal part of health, and I thought to myself, you know what? If I can share my story, I can help people that are feeling really scared to come out and share their stories. And you don't have to open up to everybody, but if I can say, okay, I've gone through this, and this is how I've experienced the mental health care system and what the barriers are, at least I've used my experience to be able to help those who don't feel like they can speak up.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great example.
So let's put on The Edge. Now, The Edge goes for just over 4 minutes, so you'll hear listeners maybe about 2 minutes of The Edge. So this is the song you did in 2021 around August. Have I got the timing right?
I released it on the National Day of Action of Bullying and Violence in Schools in Australia, actually on the 19th of March 2021.
Oh, okay.
So it coincided with that. So I thought I could bring awareness to the issue of bullying, and at the same time promote the day and my song and get my message out.
Yeah, excellent. So when did Mr. Head listen to it or first read about it?
I don't actually know. I think COVID we parted ways because of COVID. And I think he's busy with his teaching and that sort of thing. So, but I'm pretty certain he's heard it. So I'm pretty certain he's heard it, and I hope he really liked it.
Awesome, no worries. So let's get it on, shall we?
Hateful words, I started to cry. Am I the one you want to hurt? You are a bully, you cannot deny. You cannot deny. You take my emotions to the edge. my soul. Never defeat me, that's my pledge. You'll never send me over the edge. You never send me over the edge. Over the edge. You never send me over the edge. Your painful words have made me tough. I know that I've had enough. Can't win with this game of pain. Don't destroy me, but nothing to gain. You've got nothing to gain. You've got nothing to gain with this game of pain. You set my emotions to the edge.
So that's I love the lyrics in that song. So who's that lady sitting beside you there in the video?
That's Renee Alborno. I'm sorry, Renee. I hope I pronounced that right. She is a vocal coach at Lift Up Voices. She's also a recording artist herself. So
Okay.
and I've seen her.
And did she play the piano on that? Is that piano being played? Was it a loop?
We
or was
combined
that...
loops, but she did. We
Okay,
did use
cool,
the piano
yep.
to kind of come up with a few of the melodies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the chords and stuff. Okay. And what music do you know? Are you like influenced by? Because I know like the beat, it's like a trap beat there. So I don't know if are you into hip hop and stuff like that, or what do you listen to?
I love my 90s dance, 90s music, and
okay.
but I also like some of the classics. Another story,
Yep.
Mr. Head introduced me to Boz
Yep.
Scaggs music.
Oh wow!
And
Right.
I
Love that album.
I've listened to his music now, and it's like on my playlist, and I'm like, I love his music. But
Yeah, he's great.
I'm definitely a Lady Gaga,
Okay.
Darude, Basements Jaxx, The Prodigy, and a lot of those 90s dance groups.
Yep, I know.
So can I just ask about the lyrics to The Edge, right? So obviously you were sending... I'm taking it as a bit of a personal story about people that you went to school with. Have I inferred that correctly?
Yeah, I suffered from various levels of bullying over the years, and my mum and my family tried to get help for me from the schools, and they didn't do much for me. And Michael actually said to me, "Oh my goodness, I didn't realise." You know, he felt like I said to him he didn't realise what was going on. But I think in his class I wasn't actually bullied too much.
Yeah.
It was more after that class, and that
What did he teach, Amanda?
he was just my year 5. You know, every day.
Oh, just the
But
main
he was
guy,
like the PE sort of nut. So
Okay.
he loved PE.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it was like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And, he used to play Queen in class, and he had a dog. He had a
That's
dog
cool.
called Boz that he brought to school.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out about Boz Scaggs. He
Okay.
goes, "Oh, where'd you get the
Wow,
name Boz
that's
from?"
cool.
And he's like telling me who Boz Scaggs is, and I'm like, "Oh, I've got to listen to his music."
Yeah.
And I was actually scared of that dog in year 5. He used to bring it in, and I'm like, "Get that dog away from me." And I'm like, but now I think about it, he would have been such a cute dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just something completely, totally off topic, now that you've mentioned dogs. I got bitten by a dog this morning while we were out for our morning
Oh,
walk.
no.
Oh, so you got bitten by a dog
my
and your
car
car
broke
broke down.
Just one of those days.
It's one of those.
Tony, that's we could write a country song in
The
that.
dog bit me, and the car broke down.
See, Amanda's on it
Oh,
already.
I've got to end the day with a frown. But I'm happy now.
So, Amanda, we're in your songwriting journey. So, how long have you been writing songs now?
Well, I wrote my first song when I was 17, and I actually did a recording with the local council
Okay.
called Taste Like Chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
And it was called...
What was that about? Tastes like chicken.
It was a compilation album of people from the council area, and my song was a love song. Very, very tragic love song. 17 years old, hadn't been on a date yet, and it's like, I'm trying to think about, it's like, boy, do you want my love? Do you want to be my one and only? And I've listened to...
everyone writes those songs when they're young.
My first time in a recording studio, and it was in 2001, and I heard it a few years ago. I found it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was bad. But it was an experience. And that was the main thing.
It's part of the journey, and this is our former co-host Matt used to, like, he got rid of all his old music, and it's his music, he's allowed to do that. But I always see it as part of a journey, that you're on. So it's like I do speaking engagements, and when I first started doing it, I was horrendous. But I'm not going to delete those videos because there's still some relevance in there. There's still some really good stuff. But it's part of my journey to go back and say, geez, I was really bad. And maybe I'm better.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's songwriting. Songwriting is like anything. Like learning the guitar. You start out you're shit, and you learn and you get better and better. It's an art form.
It's definitely.
You learn the things that you do. I have to listen to that stuff. I shouldn't have done that there. And then
I've seen some of my videos of me practicing my singing, and I've done like Bohemian Rhapsody, and I've those sorts of songs, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Amanda, you need a lot more training. And but the thing is, I'm actually grateful that I've got that record of my development, and that's with Instagram. Yeah. It's like you kind of got like a scrapbook of your development. And my music teacher from high school actually got in contact with a lot of the old music students and gave us copies of the school concert. So he gave me my first ever solo live performance at a school concert. Yeah. And I was singing Everything I Do It For You.
Oh, Bryan Adams.
I actually recorded my...
Man, the amount of times I played that at a wedding.
I actually recorded a video at Lift Up Voice studio last year of me singing that same song as a 36 years old. I was 36 at the time. So 20 years later, I actually sang it again. It's on YouTube. And my voice has improved and I can hear the difference. And Mr. Howells would have been proud, my old music teacher from high school. So...
Now, man, that place, Reach for the Light, is that in the city? Where is that
Lift Up
located?
Voices.
Lift Up Voices,
it
sorry.
It's in the city. Yeah, so it's in Adelaide.
Okay.
And...
okay, cool.
It's not too far away from the CBD.
Okay.
So...
It's always important that we can sort of share some of that information just in case there's musos out there that can come. So do you play an instrument at all, Amanda?
I try to play the drums. That's about it. I've always struggled to read sheet music, even when I was at high school. And the way I create music is using my ear and doing loops and using like computer programs because I also do instrumental tracks. Yep. And just by listening to the difference in the music and that sort of thing, I can create these tracks. So Reach for the Light was my first one I did myself. First backing track.
Yeah. Yep.
And I do get advice and assistance from Tori and Renee as well. So they would say, what key is this in, and the program usually says what key it is. But the drum is really the only thing I can play.
That's fine.
And I've just been doing vocals.
And so the program you use, would that be, is it like GarageBand or is it Logic or is it...
I use Soundtrack.
What it is? Oh, okay.
That was one recommended by Tori because I don't have a Mac, so I.
That's fine.
and
it doesn't matter what you got to make music.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
So you mentioned your singing's improved from your time at primary school. Is that part of your journey as well as you continue to get better? What does that look like? Do you have a bit of a vision for where you want to be as a singer?
I think more when I was younger, I used to sing in groups. Now and there was a lot of really amazing singers at school. And I think that I didn't have a lot of confidence and thought my singing wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And even though my family was like, "Oh, you got a great voice,"
They always do, don't they? They always do.
and my friends and that sort of thing. But I do want to tweak my technique a bit and learn a bit more of the breathing technique, and also I've been exploring different genres of music with my voice. So
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's seeing how my voice sounds with different genres.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Reach for the Light. Tell us a little bit about the background on this song.
I wrote this not long after The Edge, when we were in lockdown in Adelaide again. I wrote it as a poem. I have a regular GP surgery I go to quite a bit with my condition, so it's like I thought, let's write this poem and give it to the staff, and so it's hanging up in their staff room, the original version of it was actually called The Light, and they were grateful for it, because I said I want to do something to help the frontline workers and help people that are going through quite a lot during the pandemic. And I said, here you go. And they're like, oh, this is wonderful. And my GP's like, oh, this is such, he really liked it. And so they still have it hanging up in their staff room now. And and then I thought, okay, well, I got inspired by, Steps, the group Steps, Deeper Shade of Blue, and their space clip, and I thought, oh, that would be a nice theme for Reach for the Light. And I'm like, I was working on another song, but I was like, oh, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where I got the theming from. Like, I was inspired by that song. And then I thought, you know what, let's take my first dance track and let's do something uplifting, because the pandemic is being an absolute bitch at the moment. I actually study public health at uni. I just graduated, so I've done epidemiology and all that, so that's kind of my area. So it's like I was kind of depressed, and I thought, you know what, this might lift up a few people's spirits. So I thought, okay, let's create the song, and it was a learning process to bring out a dance track. So
So is this paying homage to all those 90s bands that you loved?
Definitely. Yeah, I always dreamt to bring out a dance track, and this was like my dance dreams coming true. So my tag was Light is on the Way for my promotions, and I had to come up with it all myself, because I'm on a zero budget, because I don't make money from my music. It's all for a hobby. So it's like I came up with taglines. I did the video, or even the Edge video. Tori took the footage and I edited it. I had to learn very quickly.
Excellent.
And Reach for the Light, I used Rota Video, so that's kind of like a program that syncs the music with the clips and stuff.
Okay.
And I had to do all the lyrics and line them up, and
Yeah. It's good you put the lyrics up there, especially with your songs.
Yeah, very much so. So let's click play, and this is Amanda Turner, Reach for the Light.
Reach for the light. It's in your sight. Some days you feel defeated. Other days you feel we're cheated. Light is on the way. After the darkest day. After the darkest day. Persistence is the key. Step by step you can succeed. Look how far you have come. Amazing things you have done. Reach for the light. Almost there, it's in your sight. Light a candle to find the way to the happy
Now I'm
Definitely got the
very much
90s
so.
there.
I,
For sure. You nailed that one,
thank
Amanda.
you.
You nailed the 90s vibe.
Can I
that's
just
for
say
sure.
also I'm getting a bit of a land down under vibe, down under by Men at Work. Is it the piccolo or there's a little bit of whether it's the flute or the piccolo or something. There's a little bit of that in there, and I'm also like it's quite interesting to me because it's almost gospel-y there when you go into the chorus with the reach for the light. And you've got this little dance track happening, and then all of a sudden it's like I won't say it's opera, but it's sort of gospel. So yeah, I like it. It's got a couple of little contrasts in there, and I can sense. Do you come from the land down under? With the
I never noticed that actually.
yeah, it just
One of the highlights of our show, Amanda, is always when Curly describes the music. I love it.
It's
He gets
great
it
to
every
hear.
time. It is.
well, you'll listen to that song and say, "Where's this piccolo that Tony's talking about?" Oh, there it is. I can sense it. So, Amanda, that's awesome. So you've got your music out there on
thank you.
Spotify. You've got a YouTube channel. You've got a Facebook page, and of course, all those links will be in the show notes. So all I can say is keep doing what you're doing, and
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're going to make a difference.
I hope so. That's my goal.
They probably already are.
absolutely.
I try my best.
And if there's any Adelaide musos there, of course, that can help support that great organisation. What was it again? Light Up?
Lift Up Voices.
Lift Up Voices. Check it. Go out and see if they can need a hand. See if they need some volunteers. I think that's always something that's important.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Amanda, you just now need to put up with Braggy and I as we close the show. So just bear with us.
Okay.
Have a bit of a laugh. So the first thing I've got to say is I was on YouTube today, and Amanda had made a comment on the Unfiltered video, but that's cool. I got the name wrong, so that's all right.
That's okay.
But in my notifications, there was this new notification from some unknown artist called Tave Bragg for a new song, and I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. He snuck a new song out there. So
I try and sneak him out.
there's no
Tony.
fanfare in relation to Braggy. Oh, Amanda, by the way, we will add your songs to the Unfiltered and Undiscovered
Thank
Yes.
you.
playlist on Spotify.
Playlist.
So, and hopefully
That's
that'll
awesome.
pick you up a couple of new viewers. As I have with Braggy's new song, it's now on the playlist. So tell us what was it's
Thank you.
called. The Wheel. So it's a trucking song, I take it, Behind the Wheel.
Not really. It's just about. I think it's just about every day you go out and you try and you try and achieve something.
Yeah.
You never quite get there. Do you know what I mean? You're always striving to do something, and then every night you come home and you have a beer. I think that's what it's about.
So everyone check that out, Tave Bragg, The Wheel. And I've got to admit, I showed the photo to my wife. And
All right.
Yeah.
Did you like that photo? It's gutsy
it's
for me. Pulled up
probably
there, I
the
know.
least flattering my wife has ever said about your Braggies.
That's
But it
fine,
stands
mate.
out, and that's
You gotta expose.
yeah,
you gotta expose
absolutely.
yourself,
So
you know?
I might share that song on the Unfiltered and Undiscovered Facebook page. Undiscovered 7-inch. We missed it
Okay.
last week because we talked albums. What do you got for
We did.
us? Yeah.
Am
Why
I
not?
first? I'll tell you the story before I hold this one up. I'm in a book club, and one of the ladies in the book club realised I collected vinyl, and so she brought around 3 big boxes
Oh,
of
wow.
vinyl, and most of it was just like, like Shirley Bassey and stuff that I didn't. Yeah, all these
You listen
old
to everything, Brady,
musical
so
things I
don't
didn't.
try.
I do. I
Don't
love
try
it
and
all.
be cool
I love it
now.
all. But I did find one piece of gold in here, and it's by an Adelaide band, and it's one of the first ever
Yeah.
Adelaide bands.
Oh.
Apparently, they were out in 1958, or it might have even been before
So
then. That's
the
before
Penny
I read up
Rockets.
about it. The Penny Rockets. They're doing a cover of Johnny Be Good. And I hope people from Adelaide are watching. They can because I don't really know a lot about it. I know they played around Adelaide in the 50s. Well, it says 57 here. So They were on a talent quest in 57. But on the back, it's signed
wow.
to all of them.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if it makes it worth it anymore or not, or I don't know if any of them guys are still alive or out there, or any of their family is. But yeah, so that was in that. I was nearly going to throw them all out, and I found that in there.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. We might put a post up in that Adelaide Musos group and a little bit of a snippet from the video, and we'll see what we can get. Well, mine's not as exciting as yours. Mine, as you know, I love Ron Pino from Died Pretty. And this is one of their most favourite songs. It's been covered. It's their song that's been covered the most too. I know that Weddings, Parties, Anything covered this song, but Ron Pino, Brett Myers, this is from '89. Frank Brunetti, Steve Clark, and Chris Walsh. One of the just undiscovered classical little bands. It's not as many people know about them that should. And I found it...
Tony, you nearly went into the 90s,
almost
mate.
into the 90s. But it was interesting. Dave Faulkner shared on his... From the Hoodoo Gurus. On his Facebook page, he caught up with Ron Pino and talked about, the musical talent that he is. And Ron's just one of those amazing songwriters. So, Died Pretty, Everyone Moves, everyone... just an amazing song. So,
and the B-side is In Love Prison.
Yeah, so it's in typical Died Pretty fashion. I don't know if you've ever seen them play live, but they are just moody. Their music can be erratic at times. Ron Pino's like he's drunk 42 slabs of V before he goes on stage, and he's just like this enigma. So just an amazing band. And to be honest, I really only saw them live probably recently. I've seen them more in the last 10 years than what I ever did in the 80s. So,
Tony, your independent band, 80s band record collection is extensive.
One of the best. So, and as I shared with you, Braggy, we might have we're currently in communication with a lead singer from a 80s iconic band in the independent space. So the only drama that I see is most of them don't like technology, so they're not comfortable with this online stuff. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Hey, Braggy, great show once again. Everyone, don't forget, follow us on wherever you're listening or watching this, whether it's YouTube or any of the podcast platforms. We've got our Facebook page. Just do a quick search for Unfiltered and Undiscovered. We've got our website, of course, Unfiltered and Undiscovered. Don't forget, on Spotify, we've got our playlist, which is the Unfiltered Undiscovered.
And make sure we listen to the playlist, especially if you listen to Amanda's song, whose ever song. Make sure you like it. Click on like it, and make sure you follow
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely. And you get notified every time Braggy sneaks a new song out there. So
got to fix that somehow.
And as per always, in the words of the great Michael Jackson, the kid is not my son. We will see you all again next week. Thank you so much, Amanda. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, on your podcast. Appreciate it so much.
No worries.
It's been fun.
Great.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.